Revenge of the 47 Ronin is an ancient Japanese story about 47 Ronin who avenged the death of their master. This incident is legendary in Japanese history. Although this historical event happened December 14, 1702, it didn't make it to the silver screen until 1941 and a sequel the following year. And that's the last we heard of the Ronin. So they would sit in Universal's vault for 66 years. That is, until, according to Variety, executives at Universal huddled in 2008 to mull over the story. They envisioned Lord of the Rings set in the East circa the 1700s. An early treatment of the script was jam-packed with dazzling sword fights, and the material seemed like a potential home run for the US and lucrative for the Asian market. Tom Cruise's The Last Samurai, which had generated disproportionately large grosses in 2003, so the studio thought it would be a good idea and greenlit 47 Ronin. This was one of the first projects the studio greenlit under chairman Adam Fogelson. So, in March 2011, production started on the Keanu Reeves-led reboot. It's important to note, Reeves had already had major box office success at this point. The cast of 47 Ronin was Keanu with a slew of other B-list actors. One breakout star, Hiroyuki Sanada, he's known for his recent work, along Hugh Jackman in The Wolverine. I think it's important to note that the director, Carl Wrench, had never directed a big-budget film. Yes, this was his first big-budget film, and he was given $175 million, so somebody trusted him. Carl had major success in the short film department with his film, The Gift. I've never actually seen the movie, but overall the reviews were very positive. So, Carl teamed up with Universal to create a samurai masterpiece. Although this movie is based on a real-life group of Ronin, the actor plays a fictional character, Kai, who was taken into their midst, rather than a historical adaptation. So, Carl Wrench's 47 Ronin is loosely based on the story, opting for style and shock value instead. But this movie had a rocky start. A more than rocky start. According to the Business Insider, 47 Ronin was originally supposed to be released in November 2012, but production delays, which included reshoots and editing, overseen by a new chairwoman, pushed the film back numerous times. So, the movie wasn't actually horrible. Interesting scenes, decent CGI, big fights, including this one with all the swords. The plot for me was very Western man comes and saves the day, which is another plot we've seen over and over. But what gave this movie the kiss of death? They spent quality time with this, I can tell. An alright storyline. So, why did this sink like the Titanic? Well, let's dive in. The budget for this film increased multiple times. According to the Business Insider, the original budget for 47 Ronin was $175 million. According to The Wrap, the film would have had to make $500 million to break even, something Keanu had only done once a decade ago. Also during the final stages of The Wrap, the Collider reported Wrench had been removed from the editing room. That's right, Universal had cut Wrench off, and Universal co-chairwoman Donna Langley will oversee the final cut. The studio knew days before the release this movie was high risk, and they were scrambling to come up with a statement and plan. And still, see, this was a popular release date, and the Christmas slot. As you can see from the chart, it's the last chance to really make money until spring, so studios want to end the year strong. But this year was different. The Wolf of Wall Street, The Hobbit sequel, Anchorman 2, American Hustle, The Hunger Games, Thor, and Frozen were all vying for that dollar bill. With all that being said, 47 Ronin was released on Christmas Day, 2013. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the film had grossed $10.7 million in the first 2 days, domestically. It took in a solid $7 million on the holiday, but fell a steep 48% on Thursday to place number 8. The box office observers believe Ronin may post a 5-day debut, 20 to 21 million range, a poor number considering the cost, putting the movie on course to only earn about $50 million to $65 million domestically. Internationally, 47 Ronin had grossed a soft $12.8 million to date from 22 territories, with more than half coming from Japan, Singapore, and Malaysia. It will be playing in a total of 29 markets. The film lost $175 million.
certifying 47 Ronin as a biggest flop. In the aftermath, Universal released the following statement. Universal Pictures regularly evaluates its film slate for potential adjustment. In the case of 47 Ronin, we adjusted the film's cost in the previous quarter, and as a result, our financial performance will not be negatively impacted this quarter by its theatrical performance. To this date, the film has grossed $151.7 million, not including home sales, but still, that is very short of the $500 million that was projected to needed to break even. As for Keanu, he went on to provide major box office success in the John Wick film series, and more. As for the director Paul Wrench, he's been keeping a low profile. And most of us thought this was the end. That is, until August 2020, when a sequel was announced with an all-female cast, 300 years into the future. The ensemble was assembled by director Wan Yan and producer Tim Q. The movie will be called Blade of the 47 Ronin, and my guess it'll be released sometime Christmas 2022 with no official date released yet. So just like that, the 47 Ronin will rise from the ashes once again, proving a story just too good to give up. Well, we'll see what Universal has up their sleeves. So, who saw 47 Ronin? Did you? Subscribe and turn on bell notifications. Thanks for joining me for another Biggest Flops.